Alright, so everybody, in this video we're going to take a look at some two-step equation word problems. So really we're just going to have to read a word problem, a situation, and write a two-step equation for it. And then of course we would solve. So our warm-up is just a little review of algebraically solving a two-step equation. So we can just walk through this one real quick. Again, our goal is to get this x alone. There are two things happening to it. It is being multiplied by a 2.75. And it is being changed by a set of parentheses, right? So when we want to undo something, right, to get to isolate the variable, we need to go reverse PEMDAS. So that means we would have to divide out this 2.75 first. So we're going to divide 2.75, of course, on both sides of our equation. Again, the goal in doing that is so that we can start to simplify the left-hand side. Right? If we do this, we're going to be able to cancel out those 2.75s. And then all that we'll have left is just the x plus 11. So we can rewrite that. X plus 11 is equal to 55 divided by 2.75 gives us 20. So step one is done. We can switch to another color. X is still being changed now by just a plus 11. So we're going to go minus 11 on both sides. And all that is going to give us is x is equal to 9. And of course, if we were maybe unsure of our solution, or we just wanted to double check it, you could go back to your original equation, and instead of writing in x, you could substitute a 9 in. And just make sure the left-hand side and the right-hand side are equal. So we're going to dive in and look at a couple word problems. So at a bookstore, used books are $1.75 each. That's an important piece of information that I'm going to highlight, and then I'm also going to circle the fact that it says each. That's going to be really important for us. All right, after buying a certain number of used books and paying a $5.75 membership fee. Another important piece of information to highlight. I'm actually going to do that one in blue. So we have the membership fee, and after all of that, Marvin's total, forgetting about tax, the total was going to be $32. We want to figure out how many used books did Marvin buy. So first thing we need to do is come up with a variable. It says how many used books. That's what it's asking us to solve for. So we're going to pick a variable to represent the number of used books. Maybe we could just use B for books. You could pick any variable you want, any letter, but we're going to say let B be equal to the number of used books. And now we just have to take this information and write our equation from it. So I use these colors with the highlighter intentionally because in this example, of course, the green, the $32 is going to be our total. Right? That's the total for the bill. But we need to think, well, what things contributed to that bill? Well, in blue, we had the membership fee. Does that membership fee depend on the amount of books that Marv buys? It doesn't, right? It's just $5.75 no matter what. However, in yellow, the $1.75, that does depend on the amount of books he buys, right? So we're going to have to write this as $1.75 times B, right? The variable is going to go with the number that depends on it, right? So the 1.75 each, right? Usually you can find that if it says each or the word per, that's going to tell you where the variable needs to go, right? So again, let's just check our equation. We have the yellow, which is the amount of books times the price, plus the one-time membership fee is equal to the total. So we know we would be good to go. For this one, we aren't going to actually go through and solve it, but you would, of course, need to subtract away the blue first and then divide by 1.75. So you could definitely pause the video if you want to try that, but here we're just going to focus on writing the equations. All right, so for word problem 2, so it's no secret, Buddy the Elf loves candy. At the store, M&Ms and Skittles are sold for 50 cents per ounce. We have a number, so that's important information. And we said anytime we see the word per or each, that's something that we want to circle. But he put some M&Ms in his bag and then added 8 ounces of Skittles. So there's an important piece of information. And then it says the total cost was going to be $6.50. And we want to figure out how many ounces of M&Ms. So again, how many ounces of M&Ms tells us that is going to be our unknown. So let's use the variable M, and that's going to represent ounces of M&Ms. All right, so when we go to write our equation, again, we know the total bill was $6.50. And what two things were making up that amount? Well, the M&Ms and the Skittles. So this one is actually going to be set up a little bit differently. Because it says 50 cents per ounce. Well, the M&Ms and the Skittles are being measured in ounces. So that 50 cents part is actually going to be applied to two things, M&Ms and Skittles. So we're going to need to write that and then a set of parentheses. Right? In other words, that 50 cents is affecting two things. It's affecting the M&Ms and it's affecting the 8 ounces of Skittles that we already put in our bag. Right? So you could think about it, setting it up this way. You could also think about the fact that there's basically one bag of candy, right, which is our set of parentheses. Inside of it are M&Ms and Skittles. So at this point, you have an example that you would be able to solve just like our warm-up. All right, let's take a look at our third example. So the know-it-all kid from the Polar Express, whose name I found out is Lenny, paid $47 for his entire ride. So that's, in other words, the total. The train charges a $5 fee to board and $10.50 per hour. So I'm highlighting that, and I'm also going to circle the word per. How many hours did Lenny ride the Polar Express? So we're going to say, of course, it said how many hours, so that's our variable. We use the letter H. So that's, we could just say hours on, I'm going to write TP for the Polar Express. And let's have you pause the video real quick. See if you can write the equation for this one. I see two things that are contributing to a total. One of those two things is being affected by the number of hours. So pause the video, see if you can come up with it. Okay, so if you got 1050H plus 5 is equal to 47, or 5 plus 1050H is equal to 47, that would be perfect. So here's our two-step equation. Our goal is to get this H isolated, right? Get the H by itself. So if we want to do that, the first thing we need to do is subtract by 5 on both sides. That will leave us with 1050H is equal to 42. And our second step in our two-step equation is to divide by 1050. On both sides, as always, doing that will give us just an H equals, oops, I didn't mean to cross out that much. H equals, and then if we do 42 divided by 1050, we should be getting 4. So our solution is H equals 4, meaning that Lenny rode the Polar Express for 4 hours. So hopefully that helped. Again, the goal from this video was just to learn how to actually write the equation from a word problem. So use your highlighter, think about which things are contributing to the total, which things are being affected by the variable, and that should really help. So we're going to get some more practice in, but thank you for watching.